Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. We are the group 7. I am Anafruz Rojas, and we are tasked to discuss the chapter 8, which is all about imagining a nation. In the life and work of Jose Rizal, imagining a nation means dreaming of a better future for the people, where everyone is free, united, and treated fairly. For Rizal, this vision was not just about independence from Spain, but about building a society where Filipinos could thrive with pride in their culture and identity. Rizal believed that to create a true nation, people needed to be educated, to love their country, and to work together. Through his writings like No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, he encouraged Filipinos to open their eyes to the injustices they face and to fight for change without violence, but through knowledge, understanding, and unity. He imagined a nation where Filipinos could govern themselves, have equal rights, and live in peace. But before we start, let us all read the following objectives. At the end of this chapter, the student must be able to first discuss the propaganda movement, distinguish Rizal's involvement in the movement, and last, explain how propaganda works. As we go on further sa reports, we can encounter this vocabulary which is not familiar sa atua. So the first one is Cortes. It is the legislative or law-making body in Spain. It's like their vision of Congress or Parliament where laws and policies are made. Next is Creole. It is a Spaniard who was locally born in Philippines. They have Spanish heritage but were born here. So those Spaniard or Spanish who was born here in the Philippines, they are called Creole. Next is Mestizo. It is someone of mixed ancestry. Natay ginatawag og Spanish mestizo, natay ginatawag og Chinese mestizo. So ang Spanish mestizo, half-blooded Spanish and Filipino. Ang Chinese mestizo, half-blooded Chinese and Filipino. Next word is the propaganda. It is information that is used to promote or spread a particular cause or point of view. It can be very influential in shaping public opinion, and it is also a powerful tool for promoting independence movement and uniting communities. So when we say propaganda, it is their way of promoting or spreading information in public. Next word is the Restoration. It refers to a period in Spanish history from 1874 to 1931. During this time, the monarchy was brought back under King Alfonso, and they also established a two-house legislative system. So let's begin our discussion. The rise of Filipino nationalism and education. So in the late 19th century, ang economic condition in the Philippines had improved, which led to a rise in Filipino nationalism and education. So during nga time, the Philippines was a colony of Spain by the late 1800s. So as what I have said, nag-improve ang ilang economic condition, trade was growing, and more Filipino families, especially Creole and Mestizo families, became wealthier. So they had big opportunity na for education, which is with this increase in wealth, many families were able to send their sons to school, not just in Manila, but they can afford or they had the opportunity to study abroad, especially in Europe. So nganong sa Europe man nila ginapa-study. Studying in Europe exposed the students to new ideas about freedom, progress, and equality. Europe at that time was filled with revolutionary ideas, and the young Filipino students were inspired by them. This time also naggrow ang ilang nationalism because these young Filipinos, while studying in Europe, started to feel a strong love for their homeland. They saw the need to improve the conditions in the Philippines and began to develop a sense of national pride and identity. During this time also, it also had impact on the Philippines because when they returned home, these students brought back their ideas of progress and reform. They wanted to change the Philippines, seeking reforms that would benefit all Filipinos. So, as a conclusion sa akong gipangingon, um, the improved economic condition in the late 19th century allowed Filipino families to send their son to study in Europe. These experiences inspired them with new ideas, planting the seeds of nationalism and the desire to work for the betterment of the Philippines. During the 19th century in Spain, there is political changes and restoration happen. Some big political changes in Spain during the 19th century. During this time, Spain went through a period called the Restoration, which aimed to bring stability after years of political struggle. So, restoration began in 1874 after a lot of instability in Spain, including civil wars and changes in government. So, because people they wanted stability, so they have decided to bring back the monarchy or rule by a king. This meant that King Alfonso returned to the throne. However, this new monarchy was a bit different from older ones because it was a constitutional monarchy. So when we say constitutional monarchy, it says that the king did not have all the power. He also had to follow certain rules known as a constitution. So, the Constitution of 1876 and bicameral legislator. Para daw mag-work ning new monarchy, nagset sila og new nga law which is called the Constitution of 1876. This constitution helped set up Spain government, which had two parts or houses for making laws. So this is called a bicameral legislator, meaning there were two chambers. So ang isa ka chamber, isa ka representative nga gi-elect sa mga tao with certain qualification. Ang isa ka chamber, representative nga gi-appoint sa king. So together, they would create and pass laws while the king had more of a symbolic and guiding role. During this time also there is political party rotation, liberals and conservatives. Ang isa daw sa main idea behind the restoration was the two main political parties, the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party. So, kani nga system was gidesigned na siya this way so that each party could share power and maintain balance. So, kung ang isa daw ka party is in charge, so they would handle the issues according to their values and policies. Then, the other party would take over. This switch rotation was supposed to help keep the government fair and prevent one group from having too much control. However, um, However, while this system of rotating parties sounded good in theory, it faced some big challenges also. First, the elections were often managed, meaning they were not always fair or open to everyone. This often led to elections being manipulated to favor one party over the other rather than truly letting people's voices be heard. Also, with every change in government, many government employees would be replaced. So, 'di ba, if mag-change na pud og government, mag-change na pud na sila government employees. So this means that there was not much consistency in government offices, making it difficult to keep things running smoothly and making the system less stable. So during this time, it has also impact on Spain's political stability. These issues weakened Spain's political system. The managed elections and constant turnover in government jobs meant that the government could not always make or enforce long-term plans. So while the restoration was meant to bring stability, these challenges actually made it hard for the government to truly be effective.
Ang environment sa mga Filipinos nga nag-study dito sa Spain is an eye-opening sa ilang intellectual and also national awakening para sa ilaha. Kay daghan pud sila mga nabal-an nga everyone really deserves freedom and equally but it takes time to take a rest and try. And with this, kay nasabtan nila nga there's still a hope for freedom of expression na ang ideas of progress kay pwede siya na openly discuss ug mag-allow pod for exchanging of innovative thoughts. By that, kailangan pod nila isipon nga ang strategies how to think critically kay ang political and religious institution could be scrutinized means pwede ra ay siya na-examine or inspect closely and thoroughly over the detail and also criticize without fear of repercussion like something na consequence na mahitabo after that event or action. And last, it gives hope if they have to seek for knowledge after intellectual growth kay diri sa Spain sa atmosphere sa ilang pag-study dito kay gi-encourage jud siya sa mga young Filipino student to think critically, question existing norms na gihatagan nilag pansin, invention nga ilang mga gi-visualize of a possibility of concept of a nation. So this sitting played a vital role in shaping the national consciousness among Filipino, especially sa mga nakaeskwela dito sa Spain, since dito nagtabang jud how to foster a sense of identity and desire for reform and independence. And while the Círculo Hispano-Filipino was a significant organization founded by Creole Juan Atayde to unite Filipino na dito sa Spain ka-study. So it is founded at 1882. Ilang purpose ani is to connect and support Filipino students in Spain. Also to support nga mag-receive og backing from sympathetic Spaniards. So dili daay tanan like gina-despise ang Filipino dito. Even though they know nga gisakop lang nila, they still treated them normally, and that's why Filipino students in Spain saw the chances of hope. So the publication of this was launched, the bi-weekly newspaper, meaning gina-appeal sa newspaper o publish every 2 weeks kining Revista del Círculo Hispano-Filipino, while ang duration sa both organization and the newspaper kay short-lived ra, only lasted atong 1883. Then, despite sa closure aning newspaper, Filipino students still continued their engagement in journalism because they still want to fight for a hope of Filipinos. And there's a one notable publication and it was Los Dos Mundos, which focused on advocating for overseas Hispanic education. So aning nga mga period, it marked an important step in the development of Filipinos' nationalism. With this individual student kay nagtabang jud og dako sa atong freedom and push for educational reforms.
Good day, everyone. My name is Cheryl Ann Salvador. I'm going to discuss the Los Dos Mundos. In 1883, Los Dos Mundos was launched, demanding equal rights and opportunities for overseas Hispanic colonies. Notable Filipino like Rociano Lopez Haina and Pedro Guvantes y Azcaraga were staff members. Rizal and Eduardo de Lete contributed articles on socio-political and economic reforms in the Philippines. In 1883, a publication called Los Dos Mundos, in English is The Two Worlds, was started. Its main goal was to push for equal rights and opportunities for Spanish colonies, which included places like the Philippines. Several Filipinos were involved with Los Dos Mundos. Important figures included Graciano Lopez Haina, a Filipino journalist and reformist, as Braza Worstry, and other prominent Filipinos like Jose Rizal and Eduardo Dilete wrote articles for Los Dos Mundos. Their writings focus on issues related to politics, society, and economics in the Philippines, advocating for reforms to improve life in their homeland. So, Los Dos Mundos serve as platform for Filipinos and other colonized people to voice their demands for fair treatment and better opportunities. Rizal's first novel and newspaper, Rizal's first novel, No Limitang Here, was published in 1887. A newspaper, España and Filipinas, was launched in Madrid. The newspaper faced internal feuds and differences. The end of the newspaper led to a stronger Filipino community working for rights. By 1889, the Spanish community in Barcelona prepared for a new periodical. Early supporters included Mariano Ponce and Pablo Rianzares. Graciano Lopez Haina and Marcelo H. del Pilar contributed to the publication. Rizal's first novel in 1887, Jose Rizal, a famous Filipino nationalist, published his first novel, No Limitang Here. This book highlighted the issues and injustice happening in the Philippines under the Spanish rule. España and Filipinas newspaper around the same time, a newspaper called España and Filipinas, Spain in the Philippines, started in Madrid, Spain. This newspaper was created to discuss issues related to the Philippines and support reforms. However, people working on the newspaper had disagreements, which caused tensions and struggles within the group. Outcome of the newspaper, eventually España and Filipinas ended, but its closure encouraged Filipinos to become even more united and determined to fight for their rights. A new periodical in Barcelona. By 1889, the Spanish community in Barcelona was ready to start a new publication. Many Filipino reformists were ready to support it, including Mariano Ponce and Pablo Rianzares. Contribution from Filipino leaders important Filipino figures like Graciano Lopez Haina and Marcelo H. del Pilar wrote articles for this new publication, helping to strengthen the Filipino movement for reforms and independence. So these efforts in publishing helped Filipino leaders spread ideas, gain supporters, and strengthen the movement for justice and equality.
La Solidaridad, first issue released on February 15, 1889. Ito ang simula ng paglalatala ng pahayagang La Solidaridad. Nagsimula ito sa Espanya, kung saan naninirahan ang maraming Pilipinong nag-aaral at nagtataguyod ng reforma. Program defined as combating reaction, preventing retrogression, and defining progress, as to combat all reaction, to impede all retrogression, to uphold and accept every liberal idea, to defend all progress. Ito ang pangunahing layunin ng La Solidaridad upang labanan ang mga konserbatibong pwersa at itaguyod ang pagbabago at pag-unlad sa Pilipinas. Nais nilang isulong ang mga literal na idea at protektahan ang mga hakbang tungo sa pag-unlad. Aim for Philippine representation in the Cortes, press freedom and ending exploitation without due process. Ang Cortes ay ang parlamento ng Espanya. Ang mga Pilipino ay nagnanais ng representasyon dito upang mailahad ang kanilang mga hinaing at maimpluwensyahan ang mga desisyon na nakaka-apekto sa Pilipinas. Nais din nila ng kalayaan sa pamamahayag at isang patas na sistema ng hustisya. Emphasize on affairs with the Philippines due to lack of parliamentary representation to all Spain's overseas provinces. La Solidaridad Periodical Overview. Dahil sa kawalan ng representasyon sa parlamento ng Espanya, ang mga Pilipino ay nagkaroon ng limitadong boses sa mga desisyon na nakaapekto sa kanilang bansa. Kaya naman, binigyang diin ng La Solidaridad ang mga isyong may kinalaman sa Pilipinas upang makuha ang atensyon ng Espanya. Publish articles on Spanish politics, prior attacks on Philippines reforms. Ang pahayagan ay naglalaman din ng mga sulat mula sa mga dayuhang kinatawan na nagbabahagi ng kanilang mga obserbasyon tungkol sa sitwasyon ng Pilipinas. Bukod sa mga artikulong pampolitika at pang-ekonomiya, naglalaman din ang La Solidaridad ng mga tula, sanaysay at iba pang likhang pampanitikan na nagpapakita ng talento at damdamin ng mga Pilipinong manunulat. Ang teksto ay nagsasabi na unti-unting dumami ang sumusuporta sa pahayagan at nadagdagan din ang bilang ng mga sumasulat dito. Sa mga nag-ambag ng mga artikulo, kabilang sina Jose Rizal, Dominador Gomez, Jose Maria Panganiban, Antonio Luna at ang kilalang scholar na Pilipino na si Ferdinand Blumentritt. May iba pang mga Pilipino na nag-aambag ng mga artikulo gamit ang mga pangalang pantakip. La Solidaridad, a historical overview. First, alamin muna natin kung ano ang La Solidaridad. Ang La Solidaridad ay isang pahayagan na nailathala ng mga Pilipinong estudyante at intelektuwal sa Espanya noong huling bahagi ng ika-19 na siglo. Layunin nitong magtaguyod ng reforma at pagbabago sa kolonyal na pamamahala ng Espanya sa Pilipinas. Sa madaling salita, ito ay isang plataporma para sa mga Pilipino upang maiparating ang kanilang mga hinaing at pangarap para sa isang mas mahusay na bansa. Naglalaman ito ng mga sanaysay, tula at iba pang sulatin na tumatalakay sa mga isyu ng panlipunan, pang-ekonomiya at pangkultura ng Pilipinas sa ilalim ng Espanyol.
Del Pilar took over as editor of newspaper, moving to Madrid with him. The first issue was published in Madrid on November 15, 1889. The paper's editorship was changed to Del Pilar in November. By 1890, the Filipino community in Spain had differing views on Philippine affairs. Rizal believed in bringing issues closer to home and speaking to Filipinos, while Del Pilar believed in continuing efforts to persuade Spanish leaders and officials to achieve Filipino reforms. Rizal believed in bringing issues closer to Filipinos, while Del Pilar believed in continuing efforts to persuade Spanish leaders and officials. In 1891, Filipinos in Madrid proposed electing a leader to unite their community. Rizal agreed, but the voting process was inconclusive. Rizal eventually won the position as Filipino leader through manipulations by Mariano Ponce. However, he felt his triumph was shallow and he left Madrid. Rizal stopped contributing articles to the La Solidaridad and focused on writing novels. The periodical continued to publish until 1895, but due to lack of funds and internal feuding, it released its final issue on November 15, 1895. Editor Del Pilar stated that no sacrifices were too little to win the rights and liberty of a nation oppressed by slavery.